Check, 1 2 1 2.
Turn it up, turn it up.
Welcome to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast.
The tides are turning, the time is now.
Your home for the mindset, methodology, and tools needed to invest in foreclosures.
Don't you dare buy a house, buy a deal. You need to get into this right now.
Right now, yeah.
And now your host, the Foreclosure Deals Coach, Donnie Corum.
Hello, and welcome back to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. I am your host and Foreclosure Deals Coach, Mr. Donnie Corum. And I'm excited about most of our shows. I'm not going to lie to you, okay? But today, I am particularly excited because today we are bringing you one of the directors at Propstream. How do you say that last name, Burton? Burton Alessandro, am I getting that right?
It's actually Alicondo. It says
Alicondo.
But I like to say this. It's because people always ask, "How do you spell your last name?" I say it's all I can do with one L.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, well played.
I don't know how we pulled this off, but we got the man here himself. Like this is great. I am waiting with bated breath. Like, dude, stop talking, Donnie. Let's get into it.
I think a big factor is, we've been talking up Propstream for a very long time, and, it's arguably the most powerful software tool available on the market right now for budding would-be foreclosure investors, our wonderful deal hunters who tune in the show. So, Burton, just thank you so much for being here with us today. Just taking the time out means the world to us. Thank you.
Well, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I love sharing our product. I've been working on it. Been working with the team. I've been part of it for about 7 years now, and this is my thing. I love sharing what we do and how we do it and how we manipulate the data. So anytime I can present it, man, I'm ecstatic. So thank you for having me. So the foundation of Propstream actually occurred back in 2006, Southern California. We were just collecting foreclosures, REO records at that time. Just started with a group of guys, the owners, a developer. The idea was people were just tired of just going to the county to get the records. So how can we create a user interface that we go out and get the records and put it in our system? Now, we discovered over time that, just copying and pasting wasn't going to always work. So we started implementing filters and started implementing a map, a heat map. And so we discovered over time that, hey, when you have this much data, all you got to do is add logics and algorithm to it to just make it that much better. And so 15 years later is what we have today. Now, I was able to join the team, fortunately, back in 2013.
Okay.
I joined as a tech support agent. To be honest and frank with you, I didn't know much about real estate. I honestly thought most properties only could sell through an agent. That's how bad it was for me at that point. But as I started speaking to investors like you, Donnie, and learning the strategies and the things that you guys are doing to source your leads and find your buyers, that's when it finally clicked on me. Like, hey, I can build relationships with our users, the people that are out there on the field, and understand their challenges, understand what they need, and bring that back up. So we're very pride upon saying that this is an investor-built platform for investors. So as you guys keep giving us your suggestions, as we keep understanding the pain and hardship you guys are facing, we try to alleviate that by implementing updates and filters and other tools that can hopefully help you out with your real estate business.
On today's show, we're going to go into finding a cash buyer within the Propstream application. So just kind of set the scene for that. Well, why is getting a cash buyer or a cash buyer list so important to the budding wholesaler or budding real estate investor? Well, why is that important?
Someone like me, why would that be important to somebody getting started?
Well, if you were to ask me why is that important, is because that's really one of the foundations of this business is that, locking up contracts is important. Trying to find the sellers and get them on contract is important. But how can we move that contract? Because that contract needs to move. If you're not the one funding the contract, if you're not the one that's doing the fixing and flipping, then we need to find a person who's going to be able to take the equity ownership of that contract. And the only way to do that is to locate an investor. In order to locate an investor, because there isn't a heat map or anything like that, you have to use data, but not just any data, using specific types of data and specific types of filters like cash records, MLS listings at times, to find that investor that you're looking for that would want that specific property that you have on contract.
I love that. I think, in the life of a wholesaler, there's all sorts of stuff out there right now on how to find deals. Like you got a bunch of people, pitching Facebook ads, YouTube ads, et cetera, ad nauseum to find deal. But going back to the example of a dog chasing a car, right? You're going to chase this thing down with everything you got. And I got to tell you, I get calls and emails and texts from would-be wholesalers all the time. I found a deal. Like, now what? I'm like, well, you kind of should have figured that out maybe before you got going. So what we encourage you guys out there is you want to head out to dealhunter.io. That's our Propstream affiliate page, dealhunter.io. You get signed up for a 7-day free trial of the Propstream application. And I believe Burton here is going to walk us through today finding that cash buyer list, so you're not finding yourself in a situation where you're struggling to find an investor to purchase this property. So let's get started in that, because again, the pain point is you can find as many deals as you want, but without having this cash buyer list, you're sort of dead in the water. Am I right?
I agree. I really agree. Otherwise, your contract is probably going to just end up expiring. And then now you just not only just, sure, you're going to be unsatisfied, but now you have the homeowner unsatisfied as well.
Right.
So yeah, I think
developing a bad reputation doing stuff like that.
I agree. I definitely agree. And I think, again, for me, I think just having a list of cash buyers that are readily available once you have a contract just makes it easier for you. You've already worked hard on getting the contract signed, because negotiating with homeowners isn't easy. Let's face it. And now you've worked hard getting that contract. Why are you working twice as hard to now get that contract fulfilled by a buyer? So again, I think it's one of the main foundations of wholesaling is having your buyers ready, because you're going to start locking up contracts, and you got to make sure these contracts are also leaving the office.
Absolutely. I'm so excited, because I'm going to be the wholesaler in this, right? So I'm going to bring a deal. You're going to find me a list of cash buyers. Let's get started on that. Could you open up Propstream and let's find some cash buyers right here in my local zip code, where I'm located, because I want to show you guys just how easy this is, which is why most of the time we're doing this on a podcast. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you're going to want to hunt down the video of this either on our YouTube channel or on the Foreclosure Deals Coach page, or if you're ready to get started, join the Foreclosure Deals Coach Insiders group. This video will be posted there as well. You can check this thing out. But here we are. We're inside the Propstream application. We're looking at on the screen. Burton, take it from here. What am I looking at here?
We're looking at the main screen. So when you first log into Propstream, here's what we do. We figure you're in your market searching for properties. So we're going to zoom in on your area. So we take your IP address and zoom in on this area. Now, we're a nationwide data provider. So although we're zooming on your area, that doesn't mean you're stuck there. You can search any market in the USA. So you can search by a county, a city, up to 5 zip codes. You can even draw out an area. But you did mention, Donnie, a zip code. So let's go ahead and get that zip code.
Let's do it. I'm located in the Denver, Colorado area, but being more specific, I want to go into 80126 Highlands Ranch. We got a flip we're working on in here right now, and I would love to find a cash buyer for this thing. So let's see if we can help out there.
So here we are, 80126.
Yep.
When we search the zip code, it's just letting us know 15,000 records have been sourced. We're going to break it up for you here at the top. How many of them are MLSs, pre-foreclosures? How many of them are in auction, foreclosures? But today, our main goal is the cash buyers. So when we click on that, it's going to isolate those 1,000 cash transactions. Now, here's the thing. What we've done, just to help kind of ease the pain a little bit, is that we've actually gone through every one of these cash transactions and made sure that they're all non-owner occupied. So when you click on any one of these transactions, they're all non-owner occupied.
Incredible.
Because we knew over the last 15 years that when we're collecting cash transactions, there are people that are buying properties in cash, then occupying that property. And so to make your life a little bit easier, what we did right off the get-go is, hey, here are all the non-occupied cash transactions that occurred. Now, you still have to add more to it. And the reason why I say that is we're collecting records, and we've been doing this for 15 years. So if you don't filter your results, you're going to see results that sold in cash as recent as earlier as this month, and as far back as 1996, right?
Wow.
So that's how much data is in our system that we're saying, hey, here are
Pretty
all
impressive.
the unfiltered cash transactions we've identified. And they go as far back as 1996. Now, the question I rise is the person that bought this property on James Street, William here, still a buyer, right?
Right. And probably not 1996, right?
Absolutely, right? And so that's the key component is we're just giving you the raw data, right? You go to the
Right.
county and ask for it, they dump that pile of paperwork. So this is why filtering is one of the key components with Propstream, because the idea is to search a market and then click on a category and then filter it even more, or you can just choose another category when you're in here, right? Now, when it comes to cash buyers, we actually have two categories people aren't aware of. The first one is cash buyers. These are all your non-owner occupied cash transactions. So let's start here first. The best practices with cash buyer transaction is you want the most recent buyer, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
first thing I would encourage you to do is go to the ownership info of that cash buyer and specify the last sell date. When did they buy this house? And we're in a situation now where some buyers have walked away because of this situation that we're in.
Absolutely. Yes.
So what I would like to do is look for the most aggressive ones. How about the ones that bought properties at the peak of this pandemic, March 1st and after? So here are my 13 buyers that are still buying properties even to this very day, right? And so now we went from the 1,000 to the 13 that have bought in the last 160 days or 120 days.
Sure.
So now that we've narrowed down time frame, got rid of those that sold, bought a property in 1996 or bought a property 2 years ago, we're now down to the 13 that bought since March 1st. Now, the other best practice are, what type of buyer are you looking for? Because the property you have on contract could be a single family, could be a multi-family, could be a mobile home. So the next best practice is to go into property characteristics and apples to apples. So I'm looking for a cash buyer that bought a residential property that was a single family, right? Or it was a condominium. So just by choosing single family, we got rid of some of our results. Exactly. So that's the idea there. Now, your property on contract may not exceed no more than 3 bedrooms. So I want a buyer that's buying between 2 to 3 bedrooms, and the list gets narrower and narrower. So these are best practices, because we just dump it all on the table. You got to make sure you're honing in on the last sell date, and that's found in ownership info.
I was going to say just the importance of that right there, because it's not just, again, there's big data, right? That's what we got. We got this big data provider here with Propstream, which you can check out at dealhunter.io. But if you don't know how to drill down into that data to get what's relevant to what you're trying to accomplish right there, the power of the tool is just only as powerful as the guy using said tool. Right. So the idea behind this is you got to get educated out there, guys. And as the listeners, my deal hunters here on the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast, we're bringing you that education. So now you've got that wholesale deal. You've watched some of the marketing videos we've done about finding wholesale deals out there, but now you know who to take those wholesale deals. Just in a few minutes, we've isolated, assuming we had a 2 or 3 bedroom property in 80126. What is that? 5 people who are cash buyers in that neighborhood that are available right now. And that took us how long? Maybe 5 minutes. You get all that set up. It's just incredible, the power of big data.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you identifying that. And that's pretty much some of the best practices out there. Other practices I've seen are some users are, they have preferences, like they want to speak to an individual cash buyer. So how many of these were individuals instead of corporate buyers?
Right.
So now you have the 3 that you can build that rapport with, build that relationship with. Some want corporations, because corporations have deep pockets, right? They're not going to hold out on you, or they're not going to delay the escrow or the title transactions, right? So you have the luxury. Again, all we're doing is we just have this information. So the idea with Propstream is every property has data that we've collected from multiple sources. And so we were able to identify this property because it's a cash transaction, which we have here. They bought it just this month for $525 in cash. We have the seller and the buyer's name, and we have the buyer's address. Not only that, but we have the MLS details. So we can see that they bought it and now they're trying to list it. See, so there are things that you're going to be able to see that the buyer is doing. So this is what makes Propstream important, is we collect the data and all these details for you to manipulate. So this is the first way to find buyers, is just use our cash buyers transactions and then make sure you're closing in on the last sale date, not going too far back, and then adding property characteristics. If you have a mobile home on contract, then you need to find a mobile home buyer. If you have a commercial building, then you need to find a commercial buyer.
And think about the power of that, right? Because you're out there, you're shopping for deals. You don't know what deal you're going to get, right? When deals show up, deals show up. But you can find out the guy that bought a very similar deal in cash, in this case, in the last 180 days, right? So that's a guy who's got money. You're ready? You just wrote a cash, look at the sale price on some of these, 470, 489, 482, right? So this is a guy who had the cash to move on this. He didn't move into the property, so he's non-owner occ. He is your investor buyer. So instead of going out there sourcing a bunch of deals and then trying to figure out the buyers to match up, if you're marketing into a certain area already, then you can use this tool to start identifying your cash buyers. And you speak of best practices, Burton. I think that's so important because there's a right way and a wrong way to do this wholesaling gig, right? And if you're doing it right, you will find yourself in a situation where long before you found the deal, you've interviewed, had conversations, maybe coffee or lunch with a couple of these cash buyers and gone, what are you looking for, Mr. and Mrs. Cash Buyer, that I can find for you, so when I find it, I know exactly who to bring it to? Because I got to tell you, as an investor, I get offers from wholesalers daily. Note I said offers, not deals, okay? Because a lot of these wholesalers couldn't find a deal if it bit them on the behind. Just that simple, okay? There's no training out there as it relates to. But if it is a deal, it may not appeal to what I'm buying. So that's also a waste of time. What if you could build the list out before you got started and know exactly who to market your potential deals to? It's just an incredible tool, and the power of big data being brought down to the individual just getting started through dealhunter.io. You got to go check that out. So bring this home for me here, Burton. We've got this list, right? It's a shorter list, which is a good thing because we got very, very specific. But how do I export this list now and take it from here? What do I do with these 5 people? Where do we go next step?
Perfect. So once you have your results here on the right side, again, you can go into the details and get the names, get the amount that they bought it for. But inevitably, we're going to want to export this data. So we get to check off all of our results or individual ones that we want. Once you do that, add to list. That's all you have to do. Add to list. You can add it to an existing buyers list that you've created. Incredible. Or hit create new. And in this case, I would do 80126 single family buyers and hit save. And what that's going to do is it's going to take it on over to our My Properties page, which is like your filing cabinet, I like to say. Mm-hmm. And so My Properties is right over here. So whether it's a tax lien list, a buyer's list, a pre-foreclosure, this is where we store it. So what we're going to do is find our 80126 single family buyers. Here they are. We can check them off, hit the export button. Now we have that data on an Excel sheet. So you're going to see here in just a few moments, I'm going to have the names, the amount, and all of that good stuff. So here we have the addresses that were bought, the cities that they were bought in, the owner's name, first and last, mailing addresses or PO boxes of those owners. So now we know how to get a hold of these owners if we're using direct mail.
Absolutely. And from here, let's say I want to call them or send them a text message. Where do I go from this list? I know we have skip tracing built into Propstream, so you could actually skip trace these guys down, right down to their current active phone number. Obviously, an added charge for that level of data, but could you walk us through can you do that internally here?
This is literally where I am right now. This is literally the step I'm at right now. So
absolutely.
You and a lot of people
do have internal skip tracing, and so it's like you said, it's optional. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. But once you've searched and saved a property, and so technically once it's in your My Properties, all you would need to do is just click on skip tracing. It's going to give you tiered pricing. So how many people are on your list will dictate your pricing. But it also allows you to choose what items, because some of you guys won't be using emails. So you can just get phone numbers only and your price will change. So you can do emails, phone numbers, you can do both. Once you make your item selection, then you're going to hit select contacts. What list would you like us to skip trace? So here at the top, I'll go down and find my single family buyers. Here they are. I can go ahead and hit add selected contacts, done. And then I'm going to hit next and proceed by placing my order going forward. And it takes about 5-10 minutes to get your results. When you do place your order, contacts, your phone book. Contacts is where we will keep your skip tracing results. So your skip tracing results will end up appearing just like this. You've essentially built the list of buyers, you saved it, you skip trace. In 5 to 10 minutes, your results are going to populate just like this with their landlines, mobile lines, and the emails. And from there, you can then check them off and hit the export button. So you have the option to just export the data that you built with us, or pay a little extra, get the phone numbers. And so here are the landlines and emails and phone numbers that you can now hand off to your assistant. Or I know some people are using marketing machines, so you can upload it to your dialer or something like that.
And I'm shaking my head, partially in disbelief, but partially because I'm annoyed. And I'll tell you why I'm annoyed, because as an investor for 15 years, about the same amount of time you guys have been around, when I was doing this is the, I had to walk both ways uphill in the snow story. Okay?
Yeah, it's in Colorado. It's going to be even more snow. So
it's going to be a lot of snow. I had to go down to the courthouse, get this information, send it to my skip trayer by a fax machine. Don't anybody ask what a fax machine is, because it's not relevant to this conversation.
I don't know.
Shut up. I already told you that, right? Go to my fax machine, get it over to my skip tracer, wait, I don't know, a week to 10 days or so, pay a lot more than 22 cents a record, wait, tick-tock, tick-tock, it would show up, and then I'd get their phone number, get to start the process. All said and done, 2 weeks, maybe. This just happened in under 5 minutes. You found a list of cash buyers. You were able to get that list exported, put into a skip tracing system, and you're leaving with names and phone numbers inside of a matter of hours, guys. Think about the power being put that to you. And I talk to people all the time, this investment's just a little bit much for me, bro. I don't know if I can swing Propstream right now. You go, listen, you are not serious about this game till you put the power of big data to work for you.
I'm astounded by how fast this worked.
It's amazing. Just incredible. So thank you, Burton. That's incredible. So what are you going to do with that list? Well, you could text them. We've got the SMS tools that are out there. You could do direct mail. That's kind of antiquated right now. Not as many people doing that. But finally, you could do a Facebook custom list, etc., and run ads specifically to the email addresses of the people you just skip traced with that deal you just hunted down. Okay, and that happened in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, we also even have marketing if you need that help too. For those that want to just keep it internal, our campaign section allows you to create a campaign. Essentially, when you create a campaign, we want you to name that campaign and then choose your targeted list. So it could be that skip trace list we just did. But the idea is we know that no two marketing lists are the same. You're going to have a marketing list for tax liens. You're going to have a marketing list for auctions. You're going to have a marketing list for buyers. So the way that this marketing list works, or this campaign thing works, is that you create a campaign for that group of buyers, for example. And when you do, you get a free website. This website's a call to action. It's saying, hey, you know what? I have a contract for you. Hey, I have a distressed property on contract. Would you like to buy it? So it's a landing page. It pretty much lets your buyers see what you're presenting. There's an application if they're interested. Now, how do we get them to that landing page? Well, you remember, you get the landing page when you create the campaign. That's at no extra cost. But in order to get them to that landing page, I need to decide, am I going to send direct postcards? And you can upload your blank postcard, or we have templates. Whether you're an investor or a realtor, you can choose our templates. But all you would have to do is just click on one, hit select at the very bottom, And now your postcard template's there. You can hit print and mail, and we'll send out the cards directly to your buyer's mailing addresses or your distressed properties mailing addresses. We can also do ringless voicemails. So, hey, I have a property on contract. If you're interested, give me a call back. And that can be delivered to our 50 cash buyers or 100 cash buyers within a matter of a few moments, as well as email marketing. You got the email, you got the phone numbers. So these are the 3 optional marketing components that you have options to utilize as well, if you just don't want to do it manually, right? If you just want to send postcards, want to do voicemails all together at once, or do emails all together at once, this would be the best bet for you.
Well, let's see if I understand. You actually made it easier after I complained about how easy it already was. So.
Oh yeah, and you know what? To make even matters worse, the buyers thing is actually just that much more easier nowadays too. So I did mention earlier that there's actually 2 ways to find buyers in Propstream.
Okay.
One is to search your county and use our cash transactions.
Right.
But because we've been doing data for such a long time, we like to have fun with data. And one of the data sets that we collect is MLS. So we know how many properties are listed. So one of our categories is called flippers. What this is it's showing you any properties that have been owned for less than 24 months and are now back on the market. Right? Because that's what you would do, Donnie. If you were a fix and flipper, you would today. Your team would probably rehab it and get that project done within about 6 months. Maybe, I mean, we're just being a little bit more lenient. So we're saying 2 years or less.
Understood.
But then you would then call an agent and get it on the market. And that's what the flippers list. It's using 2 data. It's using county records, identifying 24 months of ownership or less, but then saying it also has to be on the MLS as active or pending. And that's what we have here. So flippers does the hard work for you, because here's my opinion on that. A cash buyer just bought a property in cash. Even though it's not owner occupied, we probably still have to call and vet them. These flippers, I know what they're doing. They bought it and they're flipping it. They're an investor. I don't even need to call them to know that they fit that behavior. And so just one of the best practices with flippers is just same thing. What type of property? I want them to flip residential property. A single family. Okay, cool. And then the last part is, do you want an individual flipper or corporate flipper?
Corporation, right.
Exactly. And you don't even have to play with the last sell date, because that's already in the logic, 24 months or less.
Months.
And so now when we have these 2 flippers, what I like about it is you're going to see a common trend. And that trend is that, hey, they bought it in cash back in September 2019 for $545, and now it's listed for $565. This later on is still active right now. So we can do the same thing with the next one. This one bought it for $509,500 in May, and now it's listed for $699,502. Right? Who buys a property for $509 in May, and then just later on in the year, or later on in that month, actually this year, so they bought it last year, 2019, in May, and then this year in May, they're listing it for $699. That's an investor, and that's our flippers list. Yeah. And I now know who that flipper is. It's per Burchard, and here's his mailing address. So this is the second list that people don't even realize that we have, and it's just sitting here waiting for you to tap into. So whether it's this zip code, or maybe it's show me everybody in Denver, Colorado that's doing this. There's 35 of them right there.
So I guess the point is, if you're a wholesaler, and and I talk to a lot of wholesalers who have that mental block, like I want to do this wholesaling thing, but I'm afraid that I get something under contract and I'm not going to know what to do with it. Shazam, that problem's solved, right? Because with the Propstream software at dealhunter.io, you are now getting your wholesale cash buyers list for people, whether you're selling a fix and flip property, your desired exit strategy, fix and flip, you're selling a rental property, etc. Obviously, you wouldn't want to use flippers for that, because you can go to just the cash buyers list. Maybe they did buy and hold that, etc. But the data is right there in front of you at a rate. Listen, this is about saving time, guys, not money. This data is available to you from this software right this moment. You can go in, dig deep, get what you need to put a deal together, and literally picking up your $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 assignment check by the end of the week. Okay, so the excuses are gone. ladies and gentlemen. Burton just solved all of your problems and like a one fell swoop here, right? You guys should be thanking Burton right now for bringing all this incredible data to it. And then he's going to give you ringless voicemail, email drops, text messaging. Like, I remember when I was a boy. Okay, they're not going to go down that road.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Let's just tell Burton how cool he is right now. I like that.
Leave it on Burton's cool, right? That's incredible, Burton. Anything you want to add to the cash buyer, the flipper buyer list that's in there as well? Anything else that the budding wholesaler should know about finding their potential buyers within the Propstream application? What else you got?
Definitely worked with other investors that have gotten creative. Like I've seen investors who deal with like private money. They use our systems to not only look for cash buyers, but people that have high equity properties or people that are free and clear, right? People that are free and clear haven't been paying mortgage on a property. So they're probably just saving money. So again, it's all about creativity. It's, do I want to talk to these people that are free and clear? Do they have money to invest on a rental property? Do they have money to invest on a investment property? And I think when you think of it that way, it's, sometimes it's not just a cash buyer. You might have a doctor, a lawyer who owns a property free and clear that wants to invest. So again, it's just a matter of thinking outside of the box. So we do have the typical categories, cash buyers, flippers, to find your aggressive investors. But for those that, like building relationships, you might find someone within this category here that would be willing to offer something to your business.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, my forte on Propstream, and what I love about it is bringing that big data to the valuation piece and being able to find out what the property is worth. That's how I got started with Propstream. That was super limited before. You needed to have MLS access. Like nobody else could do that. So when I found that was available to the masses, that brought me in. But this goes way past that, right? In addition to being able to do the huge amount of valuation that is critical, you're also finding the end buyer, which if you're a wholesaler, might have been until now the hardest part of this process, right? And now, boom, that problem is solved. So you can locate deals with our search. We've done shows on that. We're going to do more about actually finding deals on the market. But if you haven't gotten started yet, you're not certain where the first move is, it is absolutely, positively, and unequivocally joining up at dealhunter.io for a free 7-day trial of this software so we can show you where all this data lives. And then it's joining up in the Foreclosure Deals Coach Insiders group where we're going to answer the questions that you're having with Propstream or any other things that you need to do. Look at how much we've solved just in 30 minutes. Imagine hanging out with Burton for a couple of hours. Hey, we are at time for the show today. I guess, Burton, obviously you don't want to hand out your personal phone number or anything, but if people have any additional questions about Propstream, how can they contact you? What's the best way to stay in tune with Burton?
You can find me on Instagram, find me on our Facebook group, Propstream User Community. Also the help tab here on the left-hand side. We have video libraries, live chat, support call, email. So my team, we can definitely address any questions that you have. If you're trying to get a hold of me directly, just find Burton, again, all I can do with one L, on Facebook or Instagram, and you should definitely see me there.
I love it, man. Hey, listen, this incredible amount of value on this call, and I can't thank you enough, sir. Thank you for taking the time out. Would you be willing to come back on the show next time? We're going to dig deeper and find some other features that we can bring to our listeners directly. But do you mind joining us again sometime?
Oh, absolutely. If everybody wants to get their minds blown again, let me know.
Hey, listen, guys, the key to getting started is just to get started. So once again, step one, dealhunter.io. Check that out. Sign up for your free 7-day trial. And when you do so, head out to the Foreclosure Deals Coach Insiders group, both of which will be links attached to this very call. If you're finding this on YouTube because you're watching the video or you're checking out the podcast, join up with the Foreclosure Deals Coach Insider group. Let us know you just signed up. and I'll spend 15 minutes with you. I mean, obviously, maybe not blowing your mind as much as Burton just did today, but I'm going to try to do my best to give you the tools that you need to get super effective using Propstream right in your local market to find cash buyers, to locate great deals, and to fund the best opportunities available right there in the wholesaling market. So we're going to wrap it up on that. Hey, we want to thank you once again, Burton. I can't thank you enough. Thank you for coming on the show. Been incredible. Excited to have you back again. And, you know, with that, we're going to remind you guys, get involved, get started, get these mindset blocks out of your way. You have no excuses right now. You just got to get started. And you know, if you're going to go out there, don't you dare buy a house. Buy a deal.
Want more of the Foreclosure Deals Coach? Hit subscribe and stay tuned for more of the mindset, methodology, and tools you'll need to invest in foreclosures. Visit foreclosuredealscoach.com and text DEAL to get a list of foreclosures in your area.